everybody, and welcome to another edition of our complete Fate Reforged set review. I am Evan Irwin.
I'm Brad Nelson.
That's right, and we are here to talk about every red card in Fate Reforged. We appreciate you guys hanging out with us. We're going to begin with She Who Smiles at Death, Alicia, who smiles at death. Alicia, who can't find her keys. Alicia, who sometimes likes grilled cheese, but mostly just likes the tomato soup.
I don't even know what you're talking
Alicia, who thought about dating that one guy, but he was a total prick, and then they made a movie about it. It was weird.
Is this Moesha? I don't even know who Alicia is.
That's a good one, though. I like how you brought it there. I like how you brought it back to the 90s. So, Alicia...
Who's Alicia?
I'm just making a joke on her silly name, dude.
Well, it's probably Alicia. Well, I thought you were talking about something too old for me.
Oh, I see
it
how
was
it
like
is.
An 80s movie TV show or something.
Nice. Well, don't tell Mom the babysitter's dead, okay? Now, Alicia, who smiles at death, or it could be Alicia. I don't know. I don't know. I'm just a guy. I don't know. All I know is this card is crazy good and limited. This card is silly, crazy good. Now, my real question is it actually going to get there and constructed ever?
Again, it's just on top of all of these good 3-drops. Like, that's the one, that's the biggest complaint that I have of the set is it just sits on top of all the cards from Theros block.
Sure.
Just all of them. Like, we need good 2-drops. We need good 4-drops in these packs, you know, like better.
So tell me if this is sort of like deck building these days. So you take what you want to do, and you take every mana cost, and you just stack up the best cards in every mana cost. And the ones at the very top are the ones that you use.
No, because they're also, like, unique and do different things.
Well, that's sort of what you were explaining to me. I'm like, what about this card? You're like, well, it sits on top of X, or X sits on top of it, and that happens so many times, and you can't play this over this because this is obviously better.
Yeah.
And that to me says that, like, if
well,
they have the much the same mana cost.
Think of like a Jeskai tokens deck. Like,
sure.
You don't want to play Mana Strider. There's other better cards in there. But like a Jeskai aggressive deck with a bunch of burn spells, like a bunch of charms. Like you want Charm with Mana Strider, and you want like Hordling Outburst with Jeskai Ascendancy.
Sure, along with Stoke with Flames and
know,
the Grandmaster and all that, dude, that'd be sweet. But so I understand this is one of those cards. It's just like it's just so close, but it doesn't need to be. It's just like the blue clan leader that gave double strike. You know, that guy was insane and limited in everything they're constructed. This girl was insane and limited in everything they're constructed.
Yeah, I mean, I could see it maybe in like a black-red aggressive deck because like, or just a red-white deck, like where you can't fight with the other cards.
Sure.
Like the whole like Mardu or Jeskai cards. But for now, I'm gonna say it's meh, and I'm not that impressed.
The fact that it has first strike is the only reason we're having this conversation. If it didn't have
the fact that it's not converted mana cost to 2, but power of 2 is why I have this conversation because it's like a Revel Arc effect.
Right, and that's fantastic. It brings back Hornet Queen and stuff like that, which is super sweet and exciting.
For like nothing for 2 mana.
Yeah, for another 2. Yeah, but then you're playing a Hornet Queen in your red/Obzon deck or whatever, and it's
you don't.
weird.
Oh, red in your Obzon deck? No, no one could ever do that.
Oh.
Yeah, no one would ever play 4 colors.
Oh, never in this format. Okay, fine. It's really good and limited, though. First pick, slam, always play at the end. Arc Bond, I like this card a lot. I even like this card in Constructed. I think, it's a limited bomb because you can set up a scenario where you just completely wreck every creature on the board. You just destroy everything they have and hurt their face, and I think that's fantastic. However, I want to say this might be good in Constructed, if only because A, Deflecting Palm did see some play, and B, again, you can craft yourself into a situation where this deals the most upside for you for just 3 mana.
It could. I don't like situational cards like this because I want to push my advantage, and I don't know how many times this is going to push a big advantage.
Sure.
The weirdest thing, though, is I just want to know, is that a blade going through him? There's the art in this set is unique to me. Like,
it's weird. I think it's just strapped to his back or something. I don't know what's going on.
So he can charge?
Sort of. I don't know. He's like, hey, take the sword and put it on me. Like, put it on you? Put it on me. On your back? Strap it hard. I mean, you know, like, I don't know what's going on here. It's just weird. But all I'm saying is this effect seems super crazy good and limited because, again, you craft it the way you want. Constructed, I don't know.
Yeah, it's one of those cards that I'm scared to play with just because it's so situational that I might lose control of the game because I have it. This
might be sort of a metagame thing. Like if a certain deck or a certain strategy starts to really take over, this is the type of card that will foil it.
Possibly. It's just another really sweet card that could be played with Soulfire Grandmaster where you just gain a ton of life. Just all the life points.
Sweet. I love that. That card is so dumb.
Oh, wait, no. It deals damage. Never mind. It's the creature. It's just turned something into a Boris Reckoner, so you don't even gain life.
Dang, it's so close.
Oh, I know some of you were going out of the comments to get ready.
Oh,
to
yeah, they were just
me.
like, dude, he is so
There's
wrong.
so many people scrolling up right now.
I know. They're like, dude, let's just read the card, bro. Like RTFC, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, that's what happens in the YouTube comments. Bathing Dragonfire is a good card. It's not bad in any way. You will always play it in your red decks. You'll always play it in your sealed decks. And it will never hit constructed ever.
Nope.
The end. It's good. Bloodfire Enforcers. Okay.
This card is great.
Really?
Yeah. You get first strike and trample if you have an instant sorcery in your graveyard. That's not that difficult. And like soul summons and a defiant strike, and also you can play the instant to get it started. Like if you already have the sorcery.
Yes.
You don't like this card? I think this card's great.
I think it's.
I mean, it's just a 5/2 for 4.
This is the type of card that will always hurt me. This is the type of card where
there's no downside. I'll trade.
I'll trade with everything, sure, but you're playing it because you want it to actually not just be Canyon Lurkers or whatever the morph guy was from the last set.
I've done it.
Well, of course you have, and it's been fine when they don't block it, and you get to go 5 damage. And obviously this thing is ridiculously nutty when you have an instant and sorcery in there. But me, in my world, I know what happens, which is I always have an instant or I always have a sorcery, and I can't draw the other half. Yeah, and I'm just like, I can't block your crappy morph, and I finally block your morph, and it's a monastery, flock or whatever, and I feel bad about my existence, and this guy just never comes through. If you have enough instants and sorceries, probably pretty good.
Yeah, I'm going to take this card pretty high and try to sorcery instant around it, but at the same time, I don't think it needs much work. I think it's very good in a Jeskai deck. This isn't the kind of card I'm going to want in a Teamer deck.
Yeah, I agree with you. And the other half is I really enjoy the bluffing aspect of this. If you have a sorcery in your graveyard and you just attack, you know what I mean? You just bam.
And it's a lot of damage to not bite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, if they block, they can get completely blown out. And if they don't, they're still taking 25% of their entire life total. Just poof.
Yeah, I love this card. And also what's great is you can play the destroy target attacking or blocking or deal 5/2 attacking blocking one of them. And that'll give it trample,
right?
And then it'll damage it through.
Oh, so sick. Right. So there's a lot of blowout potential with this card, which I like. I love upside. Nothing wrong with upside. Upside's all good. But, I just know that this is the type of card that hurts me so much. I want it to be good. Break through the line, which just tells me that Wizards is really running out of card names. At some point, it's just going to be like random phrases, you know what I mean? Like, the day before yesterday and that time of the other day.
Guy that does thing.
Right, guy who's hungry, you know what I mean? Like, forgot his lunch, enchantment. I mean.
Instead of like prey upon, it's just fight.
I know, right?
With an explanation.
Get you. Like, all right, sure. This is a card that if it's in the right deck and you like drafted infinite small dudes, maybe, but
Yeah, it's a very card. The problem is I understand the mentality of like, I want to kill my opponent and this will help me kill my opponent. But guess what? He's thinking the same thing. Like
they are thinking.
They're thinking the exact same thing.
They in fact
they want to kill you too.
Right.
And if you're playing cards like this and they're just attacking and blocking isn't even relevant, this card becomes irrelevant.
Yep, this card becomes very irrelevant. And yeah, sure, it'll get you past their 5/5 or whatever, but that means they attack with their 5/5 on the way back.
Yep.
So unless you have a Valley Dasher, where this would work. All right.
What?
All right,
what?
fine.
Were you talking about something that I wasn't listening about?
Yeah, no one was listening.
I
don't like this card. I think it's bad. Now, again, maybe if you're in the right, super hyper aggro deck thing.
Now, constructed playable, I think this card can make it.
Think so?
No.
Are you crazy?
Pie bet? Nah, I'll take it back.
Yeah, exactly. Now, Collateral Damage. I've seen some people say that this is good in Jeskai tokens. What do you think?
I mean, it works really well with Monastery Mentor. Right. I can see it working as a removal spell with other things, but no. I do not like that you have to sacrifice a creature. It's not Shard Volley. Like, it's a fixed Shard Volley, and that card wasn't even that good.
Right.
Like, and so...
Well, there was a sorcery version of this, I think, back in, like, Urza's or something, that dealt 4 damage. You select a creature, deal 4 damage to target creature player.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
That seems really good.
Yeah, back in the day, but token creatures token producers were terrible back then, and blah, blah, blah. So they kind of nerfed it a little bit, and it's an instant now, which is nice. In Limited, I think it's really good. It allows you to trade your chump blocker and kill their flyer or whatever. You're able to sort of really work it to your advantage, obviously both their face and yada yada. There's a lot of ways to make this really cool and really work for you. But in Constructed, I just think like you're giving up too much for what you're getting out of it.
Yeah, I've heard about people doing it with, I'm not even going to try to remember the name, but the 4/2 Mythic Teamer card. that steals guys. Or not mythic, he's a rare.
Yasova Dragonclaw?
Yasova. I was going to say Yasova. Oh my. I was going to get it right.
He was going to, but he didn't.
I didn't
so
commit.
That means you didn't get it right.
I didn't commit.
It's weird how that works. If you don't say the right thing, you don't get it right. That's weird. Yes, Yasova Dragonclaw. Okay, sure. I mean, yeah, if you have a threaten effect, obviously it's super good. If you have that rare that when it unmorphs, you get to threaten a guy, obviously super good. Active Treason, again. So if you have those type of effects, this card gets way, way better. I still think it's fine generally because...
Oh, it's good and limited because you will play Active Treasons, and sometimes you just need to deal 3, and sometimes they're going to play a removal spell, and that's when you trigger your trap card of Collateral Damage.
Ah, I saw what you did there. Brought little Pokemons in it. Defiant Ogres. Not good. Not sucks. Just not good. Just
artifacts suck and it costs 6. It costs 1,000,000 mana.
Yeah.
Just a bajillion.
6 mana for a 4/6. Like in this format, it's just kind of a joke. And there's no artifacts that are that powerful that you're like, oh my God, gotta have it. I mean, you know, I guess you get rid of that 6/4 first strike trampler guy. Yeah, this card is bad and you should feel bad if you have to play it. It's not that good.
You will feel bad if you have to play it.
Yeah, you'll feel really bad playing this for 6 mana and you'll be like,
here's my 4/6.
Here's my 4/6 and I feel bad. Now, just devil's advocate, the only thing I can possibly imagine is if you're mixing it with a white-black warrior deck and you have some of the Outlast guys that give the special bonuses, okay, but yeah, that's stretching it, okay?
Yep.
Stretching it. Dragon Rage, I think this card is a really cool design. I think this card makes your mind just go like,
it's unbelievable design. I love it. When I saw this, I'm like, they'll never run out of things to do.
Yeah.
They might not know how to name them.
Nah.
But they're never going to run out of things to do because this is just so unique. It's just a ritual, but only during combat, so they can't be a combo deck based around it.
Right.
But also, it just builds fire breathing onto all your guys, so it's really cool. And the more guys you have, the more closer you are to lethal. And
it's super, super powerful because, yes, it gives that ability to every creature, but you don't have to use it for every creature. What you can do is just pick and choose where your damage goes.
And because it's instant, and you can do it after they block, that's when you can cast it, and it's great.
Yeah, it's completely nuts. I mean, you know, they're going to block a couple of your creatures, or they're going to block all of your creatures. You're going to Dragon Rage and just pick and choose what you wreck.
And you can sometimes kill creatures that are important to kill, or just kill them.
Yep, or just put all of it into one creature they didn't block.
Yep.
High five. Like, card is super, super good. Very, very flexible. Great in Jeskai. Awesome at any point. Mainly the late part of the game is much better, but still good.
But yeah, you're going to want to play this card in decks that have like Ponyback Brigades, because you don't want to play it in just any deck.
Sure.
Because it's only good on the offensive,
right.
And it's not guaranteed to be better than Trumpet Blast.
Right. I mean, Trumpet Blast is obviously very, very good already. It's already in cons, which is fine. But again, the power in this card for me is the flexibility is huge.
Yeah. You
pick and choose where that bonus goes, and that's amazing.
But then again, another overlapping card. So you have to know which ones you need.
Then again. Now, Fierce Invocation is a 5-mana 4/4. There's nothing wrong with a 5-mana 4/4.
No.
In fact, Fermi, what was it? Fermi something or other. This was from Future Sight. That was the first red and 4-colorless 4/4 that I can remember.
Yeah.
And anyway, it's sort of like your good base stats for a red creature is 5-mana 4/4. Okay. If you manifest a creature down, it gets way better, obviously. But at its core, it's still a fine card.
Yeah, it's fine. It's another creature that goes to your graveyard that makes delve cards better, and that's like the big thing to look at. But other than that, it's okay. Don't think that it's like great. Most of your red decks aren't looking for this.
It's kind of middling.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not terrible. I mean, you're not going to feel bad playing it. It's just that you might probably do something better with your 5 mana.
Yeah, you're going to feel like when you do this on 5 mana that you're behind. It's not the best thing you could be doing.
Right. Unless you manifest a really good creature.
Yeah.
And then you're going to feel like a boss.
Or you manifest your like bomb sorcery and you feel terrible that you're going to draw it. Like your Crux of Fate, and you're going to be like,
oh, don't give me that. I don't want that. Flame Rush Rider, I really like this card. I think this card is a bomb and limited. It is super powerful, super good. Copies anything that's attacking. Like, that is cray-cray.
Yeah, it can copy itself, so you can just deal 6 with it. I do honestly feel that this card could see constructed play because it has a good chance. My favorite is like just copying the Fanatic of Mogus.
Nice.
Or not Fanatic of Perforos.
No,
that's
Mogus.
Fanatic of Mogus?
Yeah,
okay. Yeah,
the deals damage equal to the.
Yeah, I might have said the wrong
devotion to
card
red.
in my article. Hopefully Cedric fixed that.
Yeah, they sometimes catch those things. It's the way of editors, which is good. But yeah, Flame Rush Rider, I think is super good. They pushed it. I think it's the fact that it's an intro pack rare makes me think it's not good because they just don't put good rares as intro pack rares usually. But you know, it's just one of those. I want it to be good.
I also didn't learn that with Ember Swaller, so we'll see. I really wanted that card to be good. And
it actually saw it just a tiny smidge.
I mean, it saw a tiny smidge at a Pro Tour and it was a bad deck, and then it was gone.
Well, then people were like, yeah, it really was bad. Sorry. So who knows? All I know is in limited, this card is the Nutter Butters. So enjoy. The card is super great. Flame White Phoenix. Hey, both good and limited and constructed.
We're going to die to this card a lot.
Bunches and bunches. And like, I understand
even play this card.
I understand that Chandra Phoenix is arguably better in some ways.
Nope.
But I don't. Yeah, I kind of disagree with that thinking. Nope. I understand that sort of marginally, maybe because it doesn't require a creature on the board and blah blah blah. But in terms of what you want this card to do and the decks this card is in, I'm pretty sure this card may be a little bit better.
The only thing is it can't block. That's the downside. It's forced to attack,
sure.
And they put that on there to make it worse than Chandra Phoenix because I think this card was busted because you don't have to keep casting spells.
Right.
So like every time you put into play and block, it would die, and then you bring it back into play, block and die.
Yep.
So that's why it has to attack each turn. But that's because it's so good because you don't need cards off the top of your deck to keep it running. As long as you have a creature like an Ash Cloud Phoenix or Stormbreath Dragon,
sure.
You're getting this back online.
Well, my favorite was like as soon as Patrick Sullivan explained that like Titan Strength is so much better now that this card exists, I was like, oh my god. Mono Red was good and now it's like crazy good.
Yeah.
You have your Fire Trigger Satyrs that can bring it back just by pumping itself. You can Titan Strength any one of your 1/1 dorks, whatever.
It makes me
bring
think
it back.
of Eltac Bloodseeker again. Like I'm thinking of that card again now that it triggers this. I think that's the name of that card.
What does it do again?
It's a 2/1 for colorless red, and then whenever an opponent's creature dies, it gets +2/+0 and first strike and haste.
Okay.
You don't even remember. Yeah, it's an uncommon from M15.
Okay.
It's a card that's been on my mind ever since it came out because I think it has potential, but it's just been forgotten because,
What does it do? All right.
Yeah.
Words and stuff. Sure. You got me. Flame White Phoenix is amazing.
Card also makes collateral damage pretty good too with like that guy too because you can like sack it during your turn, kill a guy, makes it a 2, makes it bigger, and then you get it back right away if you need to sack a guy.
That's cool. So we have Friendly Fire. And you just basically cross your fingers.
I've read this a couple times. I didn't really know what it did.
I mean, you know, if you target like because it's random, you have no idea what you're going to pull unless you did something like see their hand some way, which isn't a guarantee. You have to cross your fingers. Otherwise, you have to target a creature that has very low toughness, 1 toughness, 2 toughness, and just hope that you hit something. Because if you hit something, it's probably going to kill it and hurt the player.
Or they're hellbent and it's just dead in your hand.
Yeah, if it's, I mean, you know, and if it's hellbent, you have to do it during their draw step. But if they drew an instant, you still get blown out.
Land.
Oh, yeah, it's bad. It's not good.
Now, I don't see playing this card ever.
I don't like this card because it just sets you up for a real big feel bad.
It forces you to do things that you would not want to do with a removal spell, like timing.
Yeah, like not play it.
Yeah.
There's one thing that you don't want to do. Don't do that. Goblin Heel Cutter is super good. I like this card a whole lot.
Yes, because it forces a creature to not be able to block, and it has dash, so that when they have a guy back to block, and you dash this, and you hit them for a lot more damage than they thought they were going to take, they're probably dead next turn, or this turn.
Yeah, this card is so good. They pushed this card super hard. One of the best red cards in the set. Obviously works great in the in sort of the red, black, white, Mardu, aggro, super aggro warrior stuff. It's just, you know, it's like this is the topic of dash cards, and obviously we're going to get to Mardu Scout here in a little bit, that you want to have in your deck every single time. This is what I always want in my red decks in this format. Not close.
Yeah, card's amazing.
Woo! Super cray-cray. Gore Swine.
All right.
Humble
Defector.
This card is sweet. I love the crap out of this card. I want to abuse this card. I want to use the bounce spells that they gave us. I want to use all the tricks that they got. I want to use the Jeskai
Collateral Damage too.
Defender thing. Oh yeah, Collateral Damage. You know, do it, tap it on the stack, throw it at the dude. This is a card that, like, on its surface, it's bad because you don't want to give yourself cards and then give them cards and give you cards and blah, blah, blah. Doesn't matter because you can abuse this card to do what you want it to do. You can do, what was that blue card we saw? It's not the pressure point, but it's the other side. the blue and a colorless, untap a creature, draw a card.
Wow.
Refocus, refocus. Draw 2 cards, refocus, draw 2 cards, bounce it back to your hand. Yes!
Your turn.
Yes!
They're like, attack you for a lot. And you're like, dead.
Oh!
But look at all the cards that I had.
I know, right? Look, wasn't I super clever? It was the cleverest. No, seriously. I love this card. I think it's really cool. I think the funnest is just trying to make it work. You know? Just make it work for you. And I think that's totally sweet. Do note that you tap it and then everything goes on the stack. So you'll want to do all of your untapped tricks while that's on the stack.
Yes.
But it still works. You know, if you tap and put it on the stack and then you untap them and tap it on the stack again, you're still going to draw 4 cards out of that, regardless of how you got there. So just, you know, make sure that you don't wait until you draw 2 cards and then try to untap them, because at that point it's too late and you've lost control of it.
And a really interesting fact about this card is you might give it control of it and it might get annoying, but if you're on the play, you can keep a 2-land in this card and draw 2 cards and give it to the opponent. Yeah. Because if they activate it during their turn, they're going to want to start attacking you, so you gave them a free 2/1, which sucks. But if they activate it during their turn, they're probably going to have to discard because they're on the draw. Yeah. So that's a give and take, but I do think that this card, even at its worst, isn't that bad.
At its worst is a 2-mana 2/1. Yep. That's at its worst. And there were cards in cons that were just 2-mana 2/1s, and people played them because they needed 2-mana 2/1s, you know, or 2-mana 2 power guys. So the fact that this has an upside, the fact that you can really go super tricksy with it with the Jeskai stuff and the bounce spells from Sultai, like, this card is sweet. I like it a lot.
Yep.
Hungering Yeti. Man, this is a brutal combat trick. This is brutal.
Yes.
This is like savagely brutal. You just drop the elbow on people. People don't even know. You're just like 4/4. And they're like, and then they read it, and then they get that sad. Kind of like, just like,
and then
the
like,
sad
I guess I'll
falls.
flip over my 5/6 and
I guess
kill it.
my woolly, whatever. Kick your butt. Still, this card is awesome. Obviously, if you're not going to do it against a morph, you're never going to get blown out that way.
But it's still an end of turn card. Like,
yeah, it's still a EOT, make a 4/4. The card's sweet. You're going to bash in. It's great. It surprises them. It kills them. It's good in all the ways you want it to be.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, it's still just a 4/4 for 5 that you can cast on your turn.
Yep, and it still enables Ferocious and all that good stuff.
Yep.
Now, Lightning Shrieker is bad.
It's really bad. You'll feel bad playing it.
It's bad.
The only reason you'll play it is if you want a bad Lava Axe. Bad Lava Axe.
Super bad. Now, all the people...
Just wrap your mind around saying bad Lava Axe.
Yeah, and I want you to think about it, and I want you to kind of chew it up, and I want you to digest it, because I played a Lava Axe, and I played a Lava Axe because I knew it dealt 5 damage. Yep. That's why I played it. I said, you know, I'm going to get myself in a position where I'm going to play this, and I'm going to kill them because they're at 5 or less. This will not do that. And in fact, this will not do that, and then it will go away, and you may never see it again. Or if you do see it again, they may just block it.
And guess what this Lava Axe doesn't do? Trigger prowess.
Oh,
brought it back.
Ding. That's right. It doesn't trigger prowess, and as a result, I think it's cool that there's a common dragon. I think that's cool. There's a common dragon.
Sure.
Neat.
Yeah, but he's a dumb dragon.
Well,
He just flies off. He doesn't even know what he's doing. Like people are afraid of him, and he shows up, and you're like, oh no, he's gonna destroy the city, and then it just like looks at a flower and just flies away.
Well, chars a bridge or something and runs off. And you're like, well, why'd you make it all gross? What'd you do that for? And you never see him again. No. All I'm saying is, the fact that this is a dragon is cool. The fact that it's a 5/5 flyer, trample haste, whatever. Don't let that fool you, and that it's ultimately a bad Lava Axe. And if you were playing Lava Axe, that card's not that good anyway, but at least it always dealt 5.
Yep.
And this one doesn't. Mardu Rune Mark. Here we go. This is a pretty good one. First Strike is a powerful ability.
It is a very powerful ability, and it gives like a creature that's smaller First Strike and +2/+2. So that's pretty sweet.
Right.
It's also the best art of all of them because it has the Mardu symbol in there, which is great.
That's super sweet.
Yeah, it's like magic swords. Magic swords, people.
The super magic-y awesomeness. Now, funnily enough, I think I would rather play this in a Jeskai deck because I think given my flyers or my little ground pounders, First Strike is way more powerful. But again, it really doesn't matter. If you're the Mardu aggro or the Jeskai aggro, both of those decks want this card and can use it to its best ability.
Yeah, but then the other way you have to look at this is, what is it, Dragon Grip or whatever, the Flash one?
Yeah.
That didn't see a ton of play. It's not playing Teamer and stuff like that, but that's because it had Flash and gave First Strike.
Yep.
That card's a little bit better.
Well, it needed to have Ferocious, as I recall, to give the First Strike, which was,
Flash.
Oh, it's Ferocious for the Flash, but it always... Yeah. Okay.
That was the trick. It itself would probably give you Ferocious, but if you already had Ferocious, it had an upside.
Correct, which is fine. And, again, kind of kind of tells people what you're doing, but +2/+2 is different than just a +2/+0 or whatever the other one is. Well, it is.
Not if they have first strike.
Well, sort of, but it also works on removal spells and things of that nature. It matters.
Okay.
Brad?
I don't play these enchant cards.
Brad,
it doesn't
matters.
matter.
You
it does matter. I'll two
you are totally
going to
play. Here's what's going to happen. He's going to be like, dude, I played this in a pre-release. Dude, this card was sick. And we're like, yeah, but then we just crap all over this card. And he was like, yeah, we were so wrong, right?
Yeah, we're dumb.
That's happened multiple times.
Yeah, because winning's better than everything. I'll throw away my ego and I'll have all the shame for the win.
Yeah, you will.
Yep.
So there's Mardu Scout. He's really good. He's super good.
Yeah, when I saw this art, I was just like, what is going on?
It's so sweet.
It's so great.
So cool. He is riding the Sandy Wave, and that's going to be awesome. He dashes for the exact right cost. He helps with devotion. I mean, I think he's going to see a lot of constructive play.
I just want him to be friends with me. I feel like
you just want to hang out with him.
Yeah, I feel like he's so cool.
I know, right? He's the coolest Mardu goblin ever.
Yeah, he's like the one goblin that is smart enough to just go on his own and do his own thing.
I mean, look at that hair.
I don't even know if he's going to fight or just having fun right now.
I think it's all the goblin chicks.
He's just trying to get the chicks right now.
I know, right? He's just looking cool. He's like, hey, and his hair's
take
all
an
whipping.
shot.
He's got his cool thing.
He's got one of those GoPros or whatever they're called.
Nice.
Or are they called GoPros?
Yep.
Yeah, that's what's going on right now. That's how we got that action shot.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's super good and limited. It's probably really good and constructed.
No, I think it is. I think this card and Flamewake Phoenix allow red-white devotion to come back. Same with Valorous Stance.
Nice.
I played it in a versus video. It felt really strong, not just because we're playing a matchup that it would prey on the deck,
sure,
but just casting my spells felt good.
Yeah.
The whole deck flowed. So I could see red-white devotion coming back.
The fact that this is 2 red for its mana cost is very important, and I think that's really nice, actually, that it wasn't just a red Nicolas and a red Nicolas.
Yeah, so here's the coolest thing that I got to do with this deck, is I got to, with a Perforos in play, dash it, get Perforos to trigger, and put Perforos online because of the double red. So it was just like an extra 8 damage out of nowhere.
Wow.
And then I triggered, the Nykthos and got to use his ability to pump the whole board. Nice. Again, using his ability to make that relevant. It was such a cool turn. Pump, and then my last... and no. So I pumped with the Perforos, and then with my last mana, I was able to bring back my Flamewake because he got to 4 power. Oh! It was just all the things. I did all the things. I'm sold. Red-white devotion's great.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Yes. So the card's very good.
Yeah.
Very, very good. Enjoy it. Thanks, Wizard. So Mob Rule, this is, again, to me, it's interesting these days, the cards that they don't preview. They did not preview this card by any site, not on Twitter, not on Reddit, not on some random forum, not on the weird Magic site from some other country that you never go to. Mob Rule is a card that doesn't do much because we've seen this a million times. The big red, I'll take your stuff and I'll attack you with it. And this kind of gives you that weird split card where it's 4 or greater or it's 3 or less. And now, granted, this is a monster limited bomb. This is monsterly monstrous. You will able to completely take over the combat step, probably kill your opponent because you're just going to take all the 4 power higher guys and just.
If this is in your hand, just don't trade. Just keep putting creatures on the board, and even though your life total is dwindling, you'll get it back.
It's all right.
Yeah,
it's
you're
cool.
fine.
They won't even know, and then you just be like, all right, 4 power, 4 power, 4 power. All right, take them all. Thanks, Kitty.
Yep. Goodbye.
That's what happens. See ya. GG's. Otherwise. Obviously good and limited. You want to pick it early because you can sort of draft your deck around it and you can make this type of scenario work for you. But otherwise, you'll never see it anywhere else. Actually, Commander. I dropped it. I dropped it there. I dropped it. Outpost Siege. So this card is crazy good and limited. You're going to use the first ability basically all the time because I like free cards. Do you like free cards? I like free cards.
I love free cards, but Chandra laughs at this card. Chandra's just like, I've been here and I'm staying.
Well, yeah. I mean, obviously Chandra don't care, but this card is crazy good. You're going to pick it all the ways, first pick easily. The second ability is good. But the first ability is nuts.
It's just Phyrexian Arena for 4 mana that doesn't deal you damage. You have to see it that way in limited because, you don't want to rip a removal spell, but you can still just cast it, right? But every turn that you reveal a land and draw a land, you got through 2 of them and played the one that you revealed, so you have one in hand for next turn.
Yep.
You just are drawing cards. That's what drawing cards is.
Yep.
So this card is phenomenal.
Yep, card is super great, and like the second ability, who cares? I mean, like maybe it works like when you draw it late and there's some scenario
Yeah, you
where
just attack with everything.
yeah, which is fine. But like more than likely, you want to run this out on turn 4, and you're just going to win the game because of it.
Yeah, it's very powerful. We've seen Chandra's 0, but we can't Hero's Downfall this, so this card could potentially see standard play. Like, it is very good.
It is very, very good. The sieges are all really sweet.
Yeah,
I love the siege designs. I thought R&D did a great job with them, and it's really sweet how now this one's a little overt in the one that you want to choose, but a lot of them aren't just like slam dunk. This is the better than this is, and this is option. You know, this option's better than this option.
Yeah, the green one. When your flyers come into play, they fight. I mean, Horde Queen with that seems awesome.
See, that's what I'm saying.
Just kill everything.
But adding mana, we'll talk about it next time. But I'm just saying it's got some options. So Pyrotechnics is a huge limited bomb. You will always play it.
And a reprint.
And a reprint
from back in the way old back days.
Legends.
I only knew it when it was reprinted in like 7th or 8th.
1994.
Wow.
Like that's when this card came out, and it had a lot worse artwork, obviously. But you know, at this point, a 5 mana distribute 4 damage is crazy good. Whether it's before combat, after combat, it doesn't matter.
Can you explain what's going on? Do they try to blow up the dragon? And now they're all taking the backlash from the damage.
It seems like they're trying to kill the dragon, and then stuff like flew back on them.
Yeah,
that's the best I can kind of figure.
That's what I think it is.
I'm not sure. But either way, Pyrotechnics is crazy good. You'll never see it constructed, but it doesn't matter because this is a limited card. You will always love to play this card. It's good. It's so good. Rage Form. What a word soup. Jesus, Wizards. Are you proud of yourself? Are you proud? You like this card? You see what it's doing there? You like your ice cauldrons? Is that what you're doing there? Feel good? You should see the German version of this because it's what form? I'm serious. W-U-T form.
Oh yeah, what form? Yeah.
What form? But like turned down for what form? And it's even more of a word soup. Like if you think this is tiny, like the text on the German one is itty bitty.
Yeah, I don't understand how this one looks just so much more complex than the other ones.
Yeah. Well, because it has to explain double strike too, and it's like, so I'm going to explain that this is an aura, and then I'm going to explain that how to manifest, and then I'm going to explain what double strike is, and that's a lot. Now, granted, when you finally get through all of these words and all this complexity, it's a crazy good card that you'll want to play, and it's always powerful. And if you flipped over a creature for manifest, you are the man.
It's also when you're in a cave right about to fight an end boss.
Right.
It's where you save your game.
There you go.
Because that's what that looks like.
That's a save point.
Yeah, that is just what a save point is. You just walk up to it, you can save your game, use your tent, get all your health, and then go fight the bad guy. That's
nice.
That's all, right? Like, that's what it looks like in real life.
This is a card that you don't pick super early. Like, yes, you're playing 4 mana for a 2/2 double strike, which is good. And again, if you manifest creature, it's great. But there are other rares that are better than this. There are other common commons, like the white uncommon version of this. The white manifest card, I think, is great. The blue one is great. Again, way better than this card. But it's obviously still a high pick. It's just not like crazy bomb rare or crazy bomb uncommon.
Not too impressed by this card. It's fine.
It's good.
Yeah.
It's not bad. Play it. It's good. Shaman of the Great Hunt is amazing. I love this card. I loved it from the second I saw it. People were like, I don't think this card's very good. And I'm like, dude, I lived through the world of Hero of Oxid Ridge, and I'm telling you, man, Hero of Oxid Ridge did not draw cards and did not like automatically pump the team, whether or not it attacked or not. Like, you can just play them, smashing all your dudes. They all get bigger, whoever gets actually through. And then if nothing happens or the board stalled, oh, I'll just start drawing cards. I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I don't think this card's that good. Just dies to anger and Doomblade.
Just dies to anger and Doomblade. All right, so
it's once you're getting higher in the converted mana cost in the set, you want to start being able to, the cards have to rumble with Siege Rhino, and Magma Jet, and this one gets beat by both. Like, it's going to get burned for cheaper mana, and it's not going to rumble with the bigger creatures in the format. So as you see, like, all the red decks, like, on their 4-drop curve, it's either non-existent or Ash Cloud Phoenix, and that's the reason for that.
Well, yeah, but the other half of it is there's not always going to be a Siege Rhino out there.
Have you ever played against Abzan? They always got it.
They always got it. Always there. And there's always comes in threes too, right? They always get 3 Siege Rhinos. Not 1 Siege Rhino, it's 3 Siege Rhinos.
I made that joke too, like right before, like I made that joke before I heard other people making the joke, because it's just how the brain works when you remember the games.
Sure.
And I've said that during tests. I'm like, It's always like that, right? Then I finally played it with the deck, and it's just true. I'm just like, man,
yeah.
Rhino, and you're like, ooh, sweet, a Rhino. And they wrath you, you're like, ooh, a Rhino.
Oh, Rhino. I'm just saying that, like, there are times that Rhinos don't always exist on the board. There are times when there's nothing on the board, and this is a great top deck. You know,
it's true.
And I'm just saying, like, to me, like, they put very specific words on the card. They pushed it in a very specific way. They wanted this to be one of the key mythics. They wanted to sell the set with this type of card. And the fact that it does what it does and can draw a card for every single creature with power 4 or greater is not just draw a card if you control power 4 or greater. It's for every single one. And that, to me, is unique.
They did put a major issue in Temur and green-red decks, though, is that everything dies to Infest. Or to Drown in Sorrow. Sure. And everything dies to Wild Slash and Magma Spray and Magma Jet.
Right.
And all these cards that people are going to play in anger, they all die to these cards.
Unless you hit him once. And then he's a 5/3.
Sure. Then
Which you will do on an empty board that you're top decking.
Yeah. I'll play around it.
Of course you will.
Yeah.
Because you're good.
Because I'm good.
Good at Magic. Card's nuts and limited, by the way. Crazy huge bomb. Super huge.
Oh, yeah, that card's really gross and limited.
Shock Mondragon is also really fantastic. You know, if at worst I'm dealing all their team 1 and I'm still dealing them 4 in the air, high five.
It does make combat really interesting when they know that this is going to deal damage that you can attack with like a bad 2/2 into their 3/3 because they know it's going to trade.
Yeah.
If the dragon's going to get through, and so that makes it better than you think of the situations where like, oh well, they'll hit for 4 and then I'll just deal 1 to all these 2/2s or something that's not going to do anything.
Right.
But it does make combat a little bit more interesting.
Absolutely. It kind of makes your creatures a little bit better than they would be otherwise. And I like the fact that like the red dragon is basically the best dragon of the cycle. I think that's cool.
I mean, it's at least it looks the best.
Well,
like, the art is awesome.
Do you want to say the black one's the best?
I like the black one the most.
I like the black one a lot. I think, but the fact that this hits every single creature and the fact that it makes your other creatures better at the same time, it doesn't have to die to really get a value out of it. I think that's really interesting. And I think there's also that feeling of when you like tap 6 and you play this guy and they have a bunch of X1s, like then all of a sudden they're like, oh God, I have to attack with my dude, so I have to suicide all these guys. Otherwise, they're all just going to die next turn. So be aware of that. If you play this guy and they have smashed with all their X1s, it's because they want to get some use out of them before they all die, not because they have this insane trick that's going to kill your dragon.
But if they only attack with 1, this is probably going to die and they're going to raid. Just set up 12. Yeah, just so you know.
Still a good high pick. You'll still enjoy it, and you'll always play it in your red decks because it's good. Smoldering Afreet. I don't like this card.
I don't understand it. Why are we getting these feel bad creatures when there's all these feel good creatures?
I mean, it's just one of those like, do you want to just fill a spot in your curve? Because there's like a million different 2/1s or 2/2s for 2 that you could put in here, and you don't need this card.
Yeah, and everything's trading anyway.
Right. I mean, you got like Leaping Master or whatever in cons, and like this is bad. You don't want a 2/2 that's going to smack you upside the head when it dies.
I don't get it. I don't get why this card has a downside. Maybe if they made it a 3/2.
Maybe, or like maybe even a 3/1 because they're trying to push it for red or something. I don't know.
I do not get why this exists. Not a clue.
Sometimes bad cards exist to make good cards look better.
And when all the cards are too good, then we start thinking they're bad. Like the Shaman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You are so spoiled.
No, he's so busted, but I still don't think he's good, even though he's great.
God. Well,
and
it could also be that we need a Theros block to get out of here.
Well, there's also people that love doing shaman activities and people that don't. I was never a Hell Rider, man. I was a blood artist.
Oh, I was a Hell Rider.
I was a blood artist.
Toot toot on the Hell Rider train.
Yeah, I was a Skurzag High Priest, blood artist, Lingering Souls kind of guy.
Well, yeah, I know. Didn't you like win infinite tournaments with that thing?
No, I won a tournament and then I got reduped. I got my revenge though.
Many people get reduped. Okay.
Yep, I got my revenge.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
This card's bad. Temur Battle Rage. This card is interesting, and obviously if you're winning, you get to win more, and that's what I like.
Yeah.
This is a card that, like, I think, many years ago, they used to think that Double Strike was like the end-all be-all, and anything that gave it cost 1,000,000 mana.
I mean, the first time they showed it to us, it's almost like they just, like, shot it from the rooftops. It's like,
oh, yeah.
The first time we saw Double Strike, to be fair, it was pretty cool.
Well, yeah, it was neat.
Yeah.
It was really cool. Like, they kind of had this, I want to say I read something a long time ago that, I think it was V who came up with the legend rule that we have today, and I want to say it was V or someone else similar in that circle that came up with Double Strike to say, why don't you have Double Strike that deals regular and first strike damage?
Now, there's been 3 different legend rules, right?
Yes.
Okay.
All sorts of, but the ones that we have today, which is when we both play them, they both die, or they both, no. The one that changed from, you can only have one till they both die.
They both die?
Yeah, that came from V, and then a new one came from, I guess, R&D.
Yeah.
Regardless, the point is, to bring all this back around, guys, is that double strike used to be this lauded thing. Used to be this like, oh my god, double strike is so powerful. It's the greatest thing ever. It's like when you look back at the really, really old sets, land walking used to be stupid expensive, and they used to put it on rares, for God's sake, a 3-mana 2/2 with a land walk ability. Pale Bears, look it up. Pale Bears. That was a rare I pulled from my Ice Age packs. I'm talking about bad feeling.
To be fair, the multicolored cards from back in the day, I have laughed so hard at looking at them.
Oh, they're bad.
They're like
they're so bad.
7 mana for like a 4/5 that has like banding 2, and I'm like, I don't even know what banding 2 is, but this is 7 mana for a 4/5, and then some of them are even worse than that.
Absolutely. So, again, to bring us back around. This is a cool card. It's powerful, but it's not actually incredibly overtly powerful. However, the ferocious ability is really sweet. Just lets you basically win more, as it were, and can completely destroy people when they block with like a 1/1 or a 2/1 or whatever against your 4/4. And you're like, all right, sweet, take a million.
All right, we just need to find another card. Now, it's not going to be as good, but we need to find the Gore Clan Boros Charm combo for this card.
There we go.
Yeah.
So, fine. The card's okay. It's not going to anything you pick super highly. However, I do think it's a powerful trick.
Yeah.
I do think, particularly in the early game, when you play a morph, they play a morph, you attack. This guarantees that if that morph is good, you get to keep it, or you can always use it later on your big guys, which is really sweet. Vault Breaker. Yeah. Now, this is interesting because it actually has the exact same power and toughness as Viashino Sandstalker. It also has the dash cost, which is what used to be, well, it's very close to the converted mana cost. It's the same converted mana cost, but it used to be almost the same mana cost as Viashino Sandstalker, which was a 4/2, which did enter the battlefield. You could attack and had to return it. But now they give you an upside.
Yeah, you get to loot. You get to red loot.
The card is very good.
Oh, it's amazing. I like anything that Goblin loots. Like, that's what I've been calling it ever since the Goblin. You know, you just like...
Sure.
Yeah. Anything that allows you to Goblin loot, which is discard and then draw, is great in a red deck. And this is just, like, awesome. Like, you dash it to loot, and then they block... And you got to filter your cards a little bit and trade on board. Whatever, that's fine to me.
It's super good. And again, it's one of those things where it's like back in the day, you just got a 4/2 that attacked and that was fine. And now you get a 4/2 that attacks and filters your cards, and you can play for 4 mana if you want to. That's fantastic. It's an upgrade all the way across the board, and it's super playable.
And you can sneak your sorcery in, so then that 5/2 gains trample.
Oh god. Wild Slash, very good. It's got that weird ferocious ability, at least best I read about it. You know, they talked about it in development, and they were just like, I think it's Bill Stark or whatever was an R&D, and he just loves Turbo Fog. He loves to play Turbo Fog. His Turbo Fog is his jam, and every time they give him a constructed format, he'll build Turbo Fog before he builds anything else. And so
why?
Because some people like Turbo Fog, and it honestly has every once in a while become an actual legitimate deck.
It also feels like the most miserable thing to do when you're on a clock, though. It's like, you are not playing 2 games before lunch. That is not your day.
Yeah, it's. I'm not saying it's not miserable. I'm just saying that people like to play it, and it does exist. And every once in a while, it is kind of good. And so when and it's actually kind of cool. And I appreciate the fact that there's people like that in R&D or around R&D.
Of course, yeah.
Because they show us that, like, hey, Turbo Fog was actually pretty good in what was going on in this block, and they actually nerfed a fog. And they added this clause of ferocious to what was otherwise basically shock.
Also, I mean, what this really does in the format, though, is even though Cure is not good in decks that would Wild Slash, but that's really what that ferocious is the only thing it's going to do. But it does stop any protections, right? Like, like we've seen Skullcrack when Master of the Waves blocks a red creature, and then that will die.
Absolutely. So there's a couple times where it will apply more than just stopping a Turbo Fog deck, but it's nice that they kind of have, again, those sort of stop gaps in the format. Like, Turbo Fog is not going to take over everything, because you always have a card like this that's going to keep it in check, and an aggressive red deck will just smash a Turbo Fog deck because they have this card.
And the Griever story of, the Turbo Fog guy being like, yeah, I got shocked.
Shacked me, and then he destroyed my face.
Yep.
Shacked. Oh.
That's it. That does seem like a good one. Z's not really a red. Well, there's not a lot of Z's in red either.
That's fair. Yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, those were all of the red cards in Fate Reforged. Hope you guys had a good time hanging out with us, going through all of them as we did with you. Until next time, I'm Adam.
Oh, we have to redo it all now.
Oh, God. Let's start from the beginning. That's it. We're going back. Anyway, until next time, I'm Evan Irwin.
Brad Nelson.
Tapping those cards.
So you don't have to.
See you next time.